Hey, wonderful people. Happy New Year. It is now day one of 2022, and like most, maybe unlike most of you, I have put off having a New Year's resolution for this year just because I'm tired. However, I did wake up and thought that one of the most important learnings that I gathered in 2019 might be relevant to us today. So lately, I've been catching myself thinking, things would be better if COVID wasn't around, if our government wasn't around and be replaced by something better. And generally, was just in a state where I wanted a lot. No, I wanted all of the problems to be removed. And today I'm going to introduce to you a concept that has really helped me navigate my life in general. It's a concept in positive psychology. I learned it from Dr. Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, in an online course, and I actually get to meet him. But he talks about the idea of a red cape and a green cape. And the metaphor changes because I'm just doing it from memory. But if I remember it correctly, the story goes where if you can be a superhero, you can only do one of two things. It's either you put on the red cape and you remove poverty, you remove war, you remove injustices, etc. Or you put on the green cape, and that's where you grow peace, you grow food, you grow brotherhood, you grow community, etc. And what positive psychology, or what Dr. Seligman was pointing out, was that generally when we have problems in life, we approach the problem either wearing a red cape or a green cape. And often we approach life wearing a red cape. Much like how earlier I was saying, life would just be better if COVID was gone, if we didn't have to wear masks anymore, if this incompetent government we have is removed. A lot of the times when we have problems, we think that the best way to approach and to solve them is to remove the problem. And while this may sound obvious, the alternative that positive psychology offers is to think about it like this. If, for example, the problem is a bad government, a red cape approach would say, well, let's just remove those in power who are bad. But if you remove everyone in the government that are bad, at best what you would get is a barely semi-functioning government because there are missing pieces, right? With neutral people. So maybe people who don't do bad, but also just do what is expected of them, which isn't necessarily bad. What the green cape approach is saying, in my opinion, would be to, hey, instead of figuring out how to remove all the bad people in the government, why don't we find a way and make sure that we put good people into the government? So you see, the approach is very different. Whereas one is just take away things, the other one is more fighting for better government, and it's more about growth, and it's more about putting things into the system. Because from how I understand it, the green cape approach of things is it'll take time, you have to put more people in, but eventually by putting good people in the government, it'll naturally override or get rid of the bad people. The takeaway here are three things. Number one, there is no correct approach. There is a reason why Dr. Seligman identifies both as approaches to life, because there are simply things that we need to remove right away, like disease, like war, like injustices. And at the same time, there are also problems and there are also issues that need a little more flourishing or a little more growth in order for us to better tackle it. At the end of the day, when we have a problem in life, yes, the goal is to remove it so that we're not distressed. But ultimately, the end goal of all that is to have a better life, to live a flourishing life. So if we cut off all our attempts at problems with purely a red cape solution, we would only ever arrive at a net zero. Gross zero? This isn't really my strength. We would arrive at zero, or at best neutral, and a neutral life is an okay life, but it is not a good life, and isn't a good life what we want. Number 2 takeaway and why this matters, and maybe you won't care about this, but something you might know. I first learned about this concept in 2019, and it has radically changed how I approached my life. I think with the last 2 years of the pandemic, I have found myself sulking and just digging this bigger hole of, oh my gosh, I wish the problems just go away. And the problem is, the problems are bigger than me. And often, I just find myself praying or hoping that they go away, and I feel helpless in front of them. In this new year, it is January 1. In this new year, I just realized that the last 2 years, I've been struggling partly because the viewpoint by which I've been seeing life has been one of a helpless one. Because I've been donning a red cape. And while I've been donning that red cape, I've been realizing, wow, I can't take away the problems. And so number 3, and why this may be relevant for you, if you have not yet created your New Year's resolution, please consider the perspective of the green cape and the red cape. The point here is to find what is most relevant and what is most suitable for you, your goals, and your needs. However, if you are like me, where you found yourself to be donning a lavish red cape and just wishing everything to go away, please do consider that there are other ways in approaching things. Even if you don't have a New Year's resolution, please see this framework, this thought experiment, this way of life as just a different approach, especially now that we're going to face new challenges, new experiences, and new stories in this coming year. Once again, Happy New Year. This is Jem, and as always, live audaciously and tirelessly chase the best version of yourself. Whether you'll be wearing a red cape or a green cape, I'll leave it up to you. And yes, you can wear both. See you again.